Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. The FBI, obviously, if you looked at the thumbnail before you clicked on this video, the FBI is after some of these red pill manosphere type content creators here on the platform. Now, I know the guy that some people probably already know from the thumbnail, which is MTR. He is a manosphere content creator. I don't give a crap what he says. You can't talk about the stuff he talks about. Your best friend be Kevin Samuels and you collab and cape up for people like Fresh and Fit and not be a manosphere content creator. He is manosphere. If you are pro man, and just, anti, he-man, woman hating type of thing, you are manosphere, whether he wants to accept that or not. Now, me personally, I don't think he's an actual woman hater. I think he actually knows how to converse with women, unlike a whole bunch of people out here in the red pill space. I think he's a guy who actually knows what he's doing out there in the world. And people have, had good things to say about the guy. And quite frankly, I know I've been a little bit critical, of the guy on my channel. I actually think he's a person that if I met him in real life, we'd get along just great. Even though people do think he's a little bit corny and he is a tad bit weird here on the program and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know that's probably a little bit of a weak, it's kind of a weak MTR impression, but he does throw me off with all his different voices and stuff like that. If you ever watch him narrate things. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel because quite frankly, this is going to be a doozy. And hopefully you like this video because we're going to try to be very nuanced. Well, not really nuanced. We're just going to try to be fair today and make sure we give him a fair shake of it because I want to go over his video that he was talking about recently about the FBI being after him. And well, it is a tad bit ridiculous, but considering he is ranked number 2 on all the people on YouTube as far as he's the number 2 male supremacist on the platform, ahead of Just Pearly Things and Fresh and Fit. How?
Of the DHS have again put me on a list, crowning me number 2 male supremacist right up here on YouTube. But here goes the actual list right here. You'll see me up at number 2. Now, I know what you're saying to yourself, which is, what the hell is male supremacy? They actually have written definitions of exactly what it means, and we're going to go directly through all of that. And truth be told, honestly, I'd be happy to wear number 2 if I thought that this shit was accurate. But these smooth brains put me above, amongst others, Fresh and Fit, and Just Pearly Things. Really? Just Pearly Things, the platform who actively advocates for women not being able to vote?
Now, once again, I don't know how in the heck MTR is anywhere behind any of these people on this list. It really doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, especially when it comes to male supremacy. The whole list is male supremacy. So I really don't understand how you can be behind Just Pearly Things when Just Pearly Things just embarrassed herself again in another interview, which, man, she's out there embarrassing herself worse than Daisy Chin, who just came off a Fresh and Fit's platform, who was 3 times, maybe bigger male supremacist than anybody that's out there on the platform. Steph is cold, another individual who puts out the most cringeworthy content, which, honestly, him and his boys, that posse they be rolling around there in Miami and all over the beach with, I swear they look like a bunch of zesty dudes. Always running around looking all lubed up with their shirts off and 3-inch shorts on. I don't know. I just find a lot of this stuff to be questionable. A lot of the stuff that he puts on the platform just to...
And over and over. It's like this. Big stroke. Till she...
Cringe. Extremely cringe. And look, as a middle-aged man, I just find it to be pretty repulsive and quite embarrassing. Not something that is very inviting for me to want to watch. I just don't think it's very positive if you're trying to actually help coach young men and help them get better in the game of trying to attract women. And honestly, that's definitely... it reeks of more male supremacy than anything MTR's put on the channel, which he does admit that, yes, he does have some very flamboyant and exaggerated titles and thumbnails. But quite frankly, you kind of have to do that if you want people to click on your videos. Because, I mean, heck, that's what I did today. I don't actually, I mean, dude, obviously I made the thumbnail and try to make it as exaggerative as possible for you to click on this video. Hopefully I got somebody's attention to click on it, because there's no other way you can make money on this platform if you don't get people to watch your videos, which he does a really good job of. And actually, he's intelligent. And unlike many of the other people on this platform, I think he actually knows how to talk to women. I think he actually knows how to build relationships. And I actually think if I met the guy in real life, we would get along just fine, even though I've been kind of critical of him here on this platform. But, you know, it's just one of those things. I really want to hammer in this video today that he isn't a male supremacist. And the fact that they have him on this list lets you know that there's a lot of things that are really skewed on this platform. Now, do I think the rhetoric he's always preaching is a little bit sissified for men? I do a little bit. Like, I feel like he's always trying to throw a blanket on a guy and make him feel like there's a safe space for him. And it's like, okay, how about we just kind of smack him in the head and let him know, like, hey, man, why don't you just grow some balls?
Men need a safe space in order to improve. It's clear that these public spaces are no longer safe.
Now, I get some women out there don't like the whole term of man up and be a man. Well, quite frankly, I'm sorry, I don't know how to break it down or break it to a guy in general, just to be like, hey, you need to grow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Life is going to hit you pretty hard sometimes. And unfortunately, there's not always going to be somebody there to aid you along the way. There's not always going to be somebody to pick you up out of the sea like Moses. Sometimes you're just going to keep drifting down the river. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have always a safety blanket. They're just not always there somebody to save you. No lifelines. This isn't, you know, to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's not that kind of life.
Organizations that try to dissemble misandry. It's funny how that happens, and no wonder you get the rise of content creators such as Sprinkle Sprinkle, which teaches women how to commit prenup fraud on men that want to marry them.
When you talk about the loopholes of prenups, can you maybe give a broad example? Yes. Be on drugs or alcohol when you sign. Smart. And have a prescription for whatever drugs you're on, not illegal drugs, but prescription drugs that alter your alter the way that you make decisions, and that way you can pull that up if you want your prenup null and void.
But I wanted to make the point, I made it in one of my recent videos. It's like, man, if you're going to harp on these individuals about male supremacy, you need to start jumping on some of these crazy feminists too, because there's a lot of cuckoo feminists. Like, you might as well just go ahead and throw away the entire View cast. Anybody who's on Good Morning America or The View, well, maybe not necessarily Good Morning America, but The View, throw all them chicks away. Cocktails with the queens or whatever, I'm sorry. Go ahead, throw them in a pit of fire, because none of them are promoting anything positive. Just like what they did with Tasha K on the program, or Cynthia G, send her to the ashes and incendiary. I mean, I'm sorry, but these people don't need to be here anymore. Just get rid of them, because those people aren't promoting anything that's actually even safe for men. They're promoting real hate on the program. I don't think MTR promotes hate. I really don't. I think some of his videos are skewed, and it's constantly caping up for guys. And I just said that a few seconds ago, so I don't want to keep bashing and hammering the same points. But he is not Fresh and Fit. He is not Steph is Cold. He is not Aaron Clary. He is definitely not Just Pearly Things, who, my God, is one of the thirstiest people. If you can think of anybody who simps any harder for men than Just Pearly Things, I mean, she is absolutely desperate. I can't think of anybody else who is more desperate for attention than Just Pearly Things. Like, she is one of the worst debaters you will ever find on this platform. If you cannot finish your statement, she has to interrupt you. She has to stop you. That's the only way she can debate you. Once you start making really good points, she gets flustered. And God, have you looked at her lately? She is looking really old. Like, Just Pearly, please get some rest. You're looking terrible out there. You're not going to find a black man out there looking for you. Like, you might find you one, because I mean, trust me, I've seen a lot of brothers will be out there and they be chasing all sorts of bad booty out there. Not in the good bad, the bad. Like, dog, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you chasing that? Why are you bringing that to the barbecue? That ain't nothing to ride home about. That ain't something that you should be in, like, hey, that's not something to be proud of. Like, if you brought Just Pearly Things to the house, you should bring that with some ambiguity. You know what I'm saying? You should definitely have some resistance. Anything that causes you to wait, that's pretty much all I'm trying to say here. You might not want to do that without questioning yourself a little bit.
As these NGOs are, you just never know. All it takes is somebody to not actually review my content, to get past the titles, to get past the thumbnails, and someone who believes that anyone that thinks that anybody who's anti-feminism is a hate mongerer can look at reports like this and I'm gone, demonetized, deleted, what have you. So because of this, I have gone out my way to create a community, a free community, and this will be where the MT Army resides, which will become the best self-development community in the world. We're going to focus on 4 main pillars of growth: your financial fitness, health and wellness, identifying your purpose, and solidifying your masculinity.
And those are all 4 things that he does address and talk about on his platform, which one of the craziest things is later you'll see that like they actually make a thing about him having the MT Army. Like that's actually a real army. Like he has a real militia of people out there that's just ready to bash women in the head in the streets. Like those people in New York who are just walking around just sucker punching chicks in the street, knocking them out cold. Like no, I don't think that's what's going on. I'm waiting for those videos. Boy, I would watch the hell out of them if that's the case. But I don't think he's actually sending people out in the streets full of hate out there causing riots, just based on the fact that they hate women, anti-feminism. If you're a feminist, punch him in the face. I don't think that's what's going on. I don't think he has that kind of pull, to be honest. But yeah, some of the things as far as like financial, wellness and actual physical wellness, taking care of yourself, all that. Yeah. He does that. Now, he does also continuously make a million videos on the fact that modern women get owned and modern women this and modern women ain't shit. Yeah, I get it. And it does get old and it gets really repetitive. But quite frankly, that's how he's making his money. So I get it. I mean, I understand why he does it. It's the ultimate grift. And he's really good at getting that grift. I mean, he has got a tight vice grip like lock. He has got a very tight grip on that space. He is doing very well with that situation. And I mean, he's pulling in quite a few views. I think he's up over 700,000 subscribers. One day, maybe we'll get there. Random University. Boy, I'm trying to enroll a lot of students over here. Let's get it bigger. Once again, hit that button below.
Manosphere's influence on online platforms. Now, I find it interesting that they call out the manosphere, something that I said that I am not a part of 3+ years ago. But
once again, MTR, you're going to have to stop saying that. I mean, it's almost comparable to R. Kelly saying something like, well, I just like to pee on underage girls. It doesn't mean I was a pedophile. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'm sorry. But if you're hiding 15 and 16-year-old girls inside your locker room, you're a pedophile, especially if you plan on doing sexual things with them later. Just like you, if all your content is something to do with what you're going to say in just a second.
But the problem is that if you have a majority male audience and you talk about the dating struggles today, identifying behavior or toxicity issues with the modern women of today, while at the same time promoting self-development to the people that watch you, they just place you in here.
You're going to qualify for being in the manosphere. You already know that. That's why you're not even fighting back against it that much, because you already know that that's kind of true. Now, I had to come back and make sure I stated this point because I completely forgot. You, MTR, were the guy that said every man should go through a red pill rage phase, which once again is like one of those things that you kind of forget in the back of your mind. Like, oh yeah, he did say that. There's so much content and stuff out there that I've absorbed. And quite frankly, I don't get enough time to do like deep dives on these videos as much as I'd like. So I don't have as much footage. I need some better equipment. I need more stuff. So man, and it might be a while, but if you want me to get some deep, better deep dives in, well, throw some money. But either way, no, I just wanted to point that out. Like, this is the main reason why that I thought you belong in this category. That's why you belong here. You mentioned red pill rage as like a necessary evil as part of your growth as a man. I personally don't think that is necessary. I don't think you need to go through a rage phase where you're hating women and you want to watch only women bashing content where you got to hold them accountable all the time. And men are just the people who are victims. And once again, always needing a safe space. That thing I'm sorry, but that really irks me when I hear that. Now, I'm only adding this point in there because I heard it from Confidence Creator on his channel, because he released a video on you, very recently, which is a great video, by the way. Please, feel free to watch it. I might even leave a link in the description after I'm done with this, because it was a great breakdown of a lot of stuff going on with your channel. And quite frankly, it was the fact that, yes, once again, I don't believe you're necessarily this kind of guy, but with the stuff that you preach on your channel, that is the kind of fans and audience that you've attracted. Well, either way, all I know is your audience is a terrible place. They're just the same as the people who really watch Fresh and Fit. So there's a really good reason why you do fit into this category. Now, you personally, no, you're not that guy. But the rhetoric you promote and the stuff that you talk about in your channel, the fact that women are the only people that ever get held accountable, it's why you're on this list. But as Kendrick Perkins would say, carry on. Now, not to be too extreme, but to be a little bit extreme. It's almost like somebody being convicted of murder and they're saying, I only found a couple heads in the freezer, you know what I'm saying? I only put a few in there and I only humped a couple dead bodies. It doesn't mean I'm Jeffrey Dahmer. It doesn't mean I qualify to be a complete necrophiliac. I'm just a slight bit insane. It doesn't mean I'm the exact same category as them. I mean, you can't put me in the same category as him. I'm not that guy. When it's like, yeah, you still kind of are. Like, same thing with MTR and the whole manosphere. Just because you make a little bit of that content doesn't mean you don't qualify for being in the same category as the rest of them. Now, I will say it doesn't mean he's just pearly things, but he is still in that same realm to an extent.
Move on. Its purpose is to provide actionable insights, foster ethical practices, and propose effective interventions to address the propagation of misogynistic narratives and extremist viewpoints. Pay attention. By presenting a comprehensive, it is not comprehensive, let me tell you, analysis, the report aims to equip practitioners, men's community, and well-being organizations, policymakers, and VLOPs with the knowledge needed to counteract the destructive effects of normalized violence.
Once again, he has never done that on this platform. I have never once heard this man ever utter a word of like normalizing violence or preaching violence amongst women. I've never heard that once before, ever. I've heard Donovan Sharp do it. I've heard Myron Gaines do it. I've never quite heard Fresh talk about being violent towards women, but I've definitely heard some other people talking about smacking every now and then. Kevin Samuels talking about, hey, you might need to give her the pimp hand from time to time. Definitely heard it from quite a few different policy people, or I'm about to say policymakers. What the hell am I talking about? A whole bunch of different red pill people out here. Heard Steph Cole talking about some stuff. You got to put a chick in her place. Yo, bop, bop, bop. All that stuff like that. I've heard all sorts of ridiculous stuff on this platform. Never heard MTR say anything violent towards women. Now, just pearly things, she acts like violence towards women is like, you know what? Maybe a chick does need a backhand every now and then because she just uttered something out of her mouth that was stupid. All women are stupid, right? And I mean, you know, the stupid thing about just pearly things is the more she talks, the more convinced I'm starting to become that she doesn't have a vagina. Like, I'm starting to really think that she is not a woman, that she is hiding something from all of us. She has one great big secret that she just is not quite ready to reveal to the world yet, because I just don't know how you can cape up this hard for men and be a woman. Like, she is just constantly saying, please repress me. It's almost like she wants to be completely dominated. She wants a dominatrix. She wants somebody to tie her up to the bed, chains and all, just over there whipping her and slap her all over the face, you know, red ball in the mouth, all of it, leather mask, over here looking like Kanye's wife. That's what she wants to be, but in a quite different type of way, where she has no rights. She can't even speak up for herself. She can't be getting out of the divorce. She's stuck. She wants to be stuck because that is the world that she says that you need. And she's supposed to not also have a vote or a say in the matter, which is just crazy to me. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. I figured it out. Pearl wants to be a slave. That's why she's so fixated on the whole slavery was embellished, talking to Nick Fuentes and all these other white supremacists, trying to say it's not that bad, saying slavery, you know, hell, they loved their masters, didn't they? I mean, they weren't that bad. They had some good relationships. I'm telling you, they weren't all terrible. They weren't all locked up in chains, getting beaten and having their women taken, raped and killed and all that stuff like that. No, not all of them. There was a few scenarios where they're like, man, I love massa. They wanted a few Samuel L. Jackson situations in there, like from Django. That's what she's imagining slavery was. She loves the idea of it. She can think of nothing else than being dominated by a big old burly black man in the bedroom where she is forced to call him massa, where she's going to be in sacks and in shambles, you know, dirty mud thrown all over and stuff like that, where they are doing some exotic role play. I guarantee you that's what she's fixated on. That's why she has no problem with giving up all her rights, giving up all her duties, giving up everything that makes her a person and a human, That's why she's always like, guys, ladies, please, I'm telling you, it's not that bad. Slavery is not that bad. And they're like, whoa, 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 Pearl, chill. It's almost as stupid as Daisy Chin running around here trying to be a content creator now. Over here trying to convince everybody that she fell in love with Fresh. Nobody fell in love with Fresh. No, you cannot convince anyone, her or her stupid white friend, that, oh, we fell in love with Fresh. We thought we were in it for love. If y'all, man, no. Everybody knows y'all got clapped up as soon as y'all walked through the door. Y'all was some mail order brides. Y'all got sent over across overseas. She was over in Miami, got flown out. You don't get flown out for love. Nobody gets flown out for love. Like, even if the Hunchback of Notre Dame was a raging homosexual with a fetish for people from Barbados, he wouldn't even have fell in love with Fresh. I'm sorry, nobody falls in love with Fresh. Nobody looks at that man who speaks like this and is always talking about this in 3-round sputters and is always like, you know what? Maybe I'll get you a McGriddle and I'll tell you about life. All this stupid stuff, telling you about these Hail Marys and idiotic, ridiculous things that he's always going on and on about. It's just some high school bullshit that they always are spewing on their platform. Nobody falls in love with Fresh. And Myron's over here paying some chick to live with him. And like, he doesn't even have sex with the girl. Like, dude, he's his girlfriend. Supposedly, it's a mask. It's a beard. And he's already got a beard. None of this makes any sense. Like, these are the phoniest people you can find on the program or on the platform, And I just hate that MTR is actually thrown into this category. Now, I do believe he belongs, once again, in Red Pill Manosphere content creation. He's there, in my mind. But he's not these people. He's just not.
As well as the father. I push for 2-parent households. Do y'all? Or are you on the side of single mothers can act as fathers, knowing damn well that a woman cannot turn a boy into a man? But the lessons that I've learned from my single father have taught me lessons that have kept me out of drugs, out of the court system, graduating post-secondary from a top 30 MBA school, and then transitioning all of my knowledge to mentorship to these young men so that they can make better choices within their life.
Now, I'm one who mostly agrees with him on this point of you do need like 2 parents in the household. Now, both of my parents weren't in the household my entire life, but they were there for at least a good chunk of the, early upbringing for the most part, at least up through middle school. So I did have that fatherly upbringing as far as being in the household, but my dad's, been in my life. So it's not like he hasn't been there. It's just, he might not have always been necessarily around, but I do have a dad in my life, and that does help. But also don't believe just because you had a single mother doesn't mean like, you won't become a man. Now, I do believe sometimes if you do have a single mother, which I've seen in a lot of cases, overly cape up for the son, a lot of times that kid will become pretty soft. And thus, they'll probably make a lot of excuses in life sometimes. And then they might not be as manly as they portray themselves to be or would like to be. And quite frankly, they'll grow up making a lot of excuses. And thus, sometimes he'll end up like Duke the Don, going out sad on his own platform, which, man, come on, Duke. Come on back, please. You have got to stop riding for Daisy. You got to pull your head up out of the daisies, dog. Like, you got to. You're too far gone. You got to stop caping up for this woman. She is not good news. I don't know what she did to you in those 4 days that she was in your house, but she took your brain, hijacked it, and threw that shit across the solar system. I'm pretty sure that thing is somewhere in the Andromeda galaxy now. We need to locate it because you're gone, dog. Like, you've always been a little kooky and you're still yourself for the most part, but anytime somebody seems to want to mention anything about Daisy, you seem to want to dance around that thing all over the place. Like, it's like hot coals. You just don't want to go anywhere near it. I don't quite get it. I don't see how you don't see the writing on the wall. Man, whatever happened on that whatever podcast, you seem to just have ignored what she did. She embarrassed the heck out of herself. And I just don't see how you don't see it, homie. Please come back, Duke. Come back. Now, obviously, I've already realized how many ever minutes into this video that I'm once again rambling like I do in all my videos, but hopefully you enjoy some of it. All I know is I got Just Pearly Things fans, I got FNF fans, and I'm probably got some Steph is Cold fans somewhere watching this video, hate watching right now, hitting that dislike button. You know what? Hit it. Smash that dislike button, because I know that y'all hate on everything. Y'all are the ones who was always like, well, first you need to make sure you watch the videos before you come up with anything. You're not watching the whole videos. You just don't understand what Myron's trying to say, and you're not getting the context of your situation. Well, guess what? I'm watching the whole MTR video, guys. I watched it. I get context out of some of these videos before I just comment. Or else, guess what? I almost did make a video on this out of context. And I was like, dude, that was going to be terrible. All the takes were going to be bad. They were going to be all major L's. I was going to be taking a lot of L's on this platform, and I didn't want to go out sad like that. So quite frankly, I was like, you know what? Let's try again. Let's make sure we get some more insight on this situation before we speak on the matter and sound stupid like the people who will probably be down in my comments very soon hating on me, which please bring the hate, because I love the hate. The hate is great. The hate keeps me up at night. It gives me energy. It's just like a vampire getting that plasma he needs. You know, boy, you can call me Morbius, way better than the movie. You can call me something that, boy, when you go ahead and give me that hate, it gives me that plasma I need to just keep making more videos and just keep hating on Fresh and Fit, because, boy, them guys suck so much ass.
He was in DC. We conducted a case study to investigate the viability of executing effective diversion campaigns. Yes, you read that correct. Effective diversion campaigns aimed at a range of male supremacist YouTube influencers who are prominent within the manosphere. So essentially, they're taking tax dollars and they're reinvesting that into running ad campaigns on my videos that after you watch one of my videos, you'll see one of their approved vendors. But what is the scale that they're using to determine how naughty that we are? Well,
now, I believe we all know that this study was about as skewed as the NBA playoff game between the Kings and the Lakers back in 2004, when the Lakers shot about 70 free throws in the second half, when everybody was wondering, like, boy, it sure as heck seems like the Kings didn't get any calls in the second half. And it really feels like the Lakers got them all. So I feel like this was a highly skewed survey, to say the least.
The male supremacy scale is a 15-point scale to measure male supremacy broken into 3 subscales: anti-feminism, female dishonesty in relationships, and women like alphas, with 5 sub-bullets underneath each point. Now, they actually go through and describe each of these 3 buckets. I'll read the first one. Anti-feminism explores how the participant feels about feminism and feminists in general. So by nature of this study, they're essentially saying, if you do not agree with feminists or those within the feminist movement, you are bad.
Woo, yeah, he gonna take a major L in that category, because he ain't a big fan of what feminism has become. I'm not gonna sit here and try to, give that out of context, because he's not anti-feminism. He's just anti what it's become, which I think a lot of people are in the same boat. There's a lot of women who aren't into this super feminism, category where Me Too wins all the time. You got people like Megan Hall finessing the entire Laverne, the police department, to give her $500,000 when she was out there hoeing it up in the streets, getting clapped up by every dude that was in the department, including the K9. And this, come on, man, really? That's what feminism has led to at this point in time, because quite frankly, it's just gotten out of hand. That's why you have people who are so enraged and so anti against it. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of people who are upset in the direction that it's gone. And yes, and like many things, it started off with a very good purpose. It started off trying to make things equal for women, putting them in a very fair playing ground. And then once again, just like anything else, it just lost the plot. It's lost the plot. And now we don't know what we're doing anymore. Now, yes, I don't think he's one of those people who wouldn't want any women to not succeed in life. He's not one of those who's going around saying, oh, all women can do is literally cook, clean, and wipe some guy's ass when they get old. That's not what he's talking about. He's never really preached that on his program. I've never seen that in any time on any of his videos. I've seen him get really preachy and uppity about a whole bunch of other things, but he's never gotten so tradcon or whatever they say about women. I just haven't heard any of those takes. I haven't. And I'm really trying to be fair to the guy, because I have been critical about him on this platform, and I've called him out a few different times, but today is not one of those times.
Research technique, which is referred to as a 7-point Likert scale from strongly disagree to agree, where they asked participants to rate the content that they were looking at from what they've already predetermined to be correct, that anti-feminism is wrong, and if you rate them high, then they are a male supremacist.
Now, I will say, luckily, I don't believe we're going to have to worry about getting put on that list here at Random University. I think we're in the clear. I don't think we're going to have to worry about any FBI watch list. You're not going to have to see my face or our logo anywhere on that platform or anywhere on some type of watch list of, hey, look out for that guy. He's dangerous. You don't have to worry about that, which is good. Now, honestly, for time's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and start trying to wrap this video. There's no need for him to keep diving back into his. Feel free to watch his video on the whole thing. I mean, he actually does go through and break it down, giving his own opinion on the whole survey, to study and why it's the way it is. And obviously, he's going to kind of go on and start preaching about some of his own narratives about things. But I mean, what else do you expect? I mean, it's his platform and he needs to stand up for himself. So, hey, so nobody else is, I guess, except for here at Random University. We're out there fighting for mediocre tutorial and reviews now. Which not really, but just today I felt like I needed to be fair, because quite frankly, it is kind of crazy to see like there's a male supremacist group out there. Like they're actually hunting people out. They're using tax dollars to literally do surveys and studies to get rid of these individuals. Was like, okay, you might want to start searching elsewhere, like Sneeko. Look at people on Rumble or the people who got banned from YouTube. How about you start with Pearl, one of the people who's out there trying to oppress women every day with her rhetoric, a woman who doesn't recognize that she has a coochie, that I'm pretty sure she has already got a dildo strapped on down there and she just won't tell anybody. That's somebody you might want to start with. Just saying. She's still on this platform and she's already had one channel banned. So, hey, how about we start working on the other? Not saying I want that to happen, but, if it happens, I will laugh a lot. Now, once again, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of the content that I had here today. And, hey, every now and then I decide I want to be a little bit fair. Not super troll today. I did want to troll just a tad bit. Obviously, I can't help but throw the fresh and fit joke in there every now and then, because I just can't help but clown them dudes. It just makes me feel good when I kick them in the balls on every single video that I can. It's just like dunking on somebody. You know what I'm saying? I've never really had that feeling because, well, I've only dunked a few times in my life being only 6 foot. But hey, it's great. It's more or less like throwing a nice touchdown pass on somebody and boy, you just dropped it in the bucket. That's what it feels like every time I dunk on Fresh and Fit. So either way, hopefully you enjoyed the content today once again, and I will see you soon.